Well, listeners, last week on the show we spoke to John, the director of a brand new Australian film called Freelance that's premiering at Monsterfest. Today we thought we would actually get one of the stars of the film on the phone to chat a little bit about this amazing film. So welcome to the program, Nicole.
Thank you so much for having me.
No worries. Now, Nicole, tell us a little bit about Freelance. Of course, we had John on last week and he told us a little bit, but tell us a little bit about how you became involved with the project and what you thought when you first read that script.
Yeah, sure. Look, we had I mean, I know John would have gone through this too, but we had a mutual friend connect us together, and this mutual friend just spoke, really, really highly of both of us, and was like, you two creatives need to meet. And yeah, I think John and I hit it off pretty quickly. I read this script. I mean, I was just in awe that he, wanted to chat to me about this project. So I was really grateful for that. And I read the script very quickly in one sitting. And I love the pace of it. The way it was written. I love Mike, the writer, is great. I'm actually doing another script of his that I've just optioned, but that's another story. And yeah, so that's kind of how we connected. And yeah, I think we just became, really great friends from it. And just the fact that I've now gotten to work with him on this. John's been great. It was, yes, such an easy process working with him, and such a good script.
Yeah. So what was it that stood out for you with the script? Was it how intense it was, how different it was to anything else that's out there? What was it?
Yeah, look, I mean, I read so many scripts, and very rarely, I'll get distracted, or I'll grab a cup of tea or something and pop it down and think about something else. But it was a quick read, I think, because it just kind of kept you on your toes. There was, some great plots, some twists. I like this type of genre too, psychological thriller, some horror elements, really gritty. It's got qualities of like a 90s style thriller. And it's relatable too. I can kind of relate to Katie's, struggles, and I think a lot of freelancers, I think, there's that relatability, living from paycheck to paycheck, or those kind of struggles. I think freelancers kind of can face.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say that. I said when I was talking about it with John that it's a kind of an everyday person that finds himself in an extraordinary situation. How do you go about researching for something like this?
I think I brought a lot of just my own struggles and life experience to it. I did feel kind of connected to her on some levels. I mean, we've all had to do things at some point, or another in our lives that we don't always necessarily want to do or enjoy doing. So I guess there's a bit of Katie in everyone, but there's a bit of Katie in me, and I guess just, with this type of genre too, there's no boundaries of how extreme you can kind of go. So it's a bit more heightened, but you can kind of throw yourself into it and build from that. But with the research, not really, just understanding the story, understanding her character, and I guess just trusting myself as well.
You mentioned before that you like intense films, and you've been involved with some pretty intense films over the last couple of years, including The Cost and now Freelance. How do you tune out at the end of the day? Because some of these scenes are very, very full on. How do you then just shut off from being Katie and what she's going through to being Nicole at the end of the day and going home like nothing's happened?
I cry. I remember, quite a few days. There's, a lot of emotional work in Freelance too. And actually I was surprised. I couldn't remember. And I was like, wow, there's a lot of the crying. There's a lot of that kind of depth, which can take a toll on you, your mental health and well-being. And I'd go back to the hotel and just, yeah, just sit in the shower for like half an hour and just cry, or call a friend, call my mom, say hi, and wake up the next day. And then I like walks, like I'll go for walks, listen to music. Yeah, so that's kind of really how I unwind.
Yeah.
And then eventually it just kind of shakes off, I guess.
Without going into spoiler territory, what was the hardest scene for you to film this time around? What was the hardest and what was the most intense?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, without giving too much away, probably towards the end.
Yeah.
I think, let's just say, like, when you've only got a few kind of clove changes, and I think it's really, it's like there's a bit of pressure to kind of get certain shots in one or two takes, particularly with when you've only got like a limited number of like, wardrobe, clothes items, things like that. It's so hard to kind of say it without giving it away.
Yeah.
But I think you'll probably know what I'm talking about. I think everyone will just have to watch it to find out. But I think, when there's a bit of pressure to kind of be like, you kind of need to get this because we don't have another wardrobe change, or we don't have you've kind of got, it's this take or never. So things like that, I think it's like, okay, well, I can do it. But it's, I'm pretty good with quick takes. I do trust myself a lot, and I've grown to be able to trust that a bit more too.
Yeah.
That just takes time.
John is making a real name for himself as a filmmaker to watch here in Australia. How did you find working with him, and what kind of director is he when you're working with him?
Yeah, look, I love his filmmaking style. He's very collaborative. Offers great safe space to be able to just kind of throw things around, make some changes if we needed to, whether it was for the best or not. Just listen. We just kind of, I think when we finally got to the filming stage, we would just know what each other needed. You know, he'd know when to push me, or he'd know that we could just give each other a look, or we'd finish each other's sentences. We kind of just knew what the other person needed for that particular scene or this scene. So he was the best. I hope I work with him again.
You also had an amazing cast around you as well. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, everyone was just great to work with. I think the crew and the cast. No one had ego, or it was just so easy. Everyone made it so easy. We had Jordan, Stevens, Guy, Jasper, Hannah. It was really great. They were just really easy to work with.
Yeah. Now the film is screening at Monsterfest on Saturday. How are you feeling about the film premiering at Monsterfest, and how do you feel about it being part of one of Australia's largest genre film festivals?
Oh, Monsterfest is iconic. I love it. It's the second film that I've had in the festival. The Cost was directed by Matthew Holmes. That was one of them a couple of years ago. So I'm so grateful that it's a part of this year's festival. I'm a little bit nervous. I keep forgetting I've got a full nude scene in it. So if anyone wants to come see me naked, come to the screening. Come to the screening, and I will be there for the Q&A, so I will answer any questions.
That has to be one of the most daunting things ever. I did a play back when I was in my 20s, and I have to say in a lot better physical shape than what I am now. And I had to strip right down in that play, and I looked out into the audience on one of the nights and saw my dad sitting in the audience.
Wow.
It's a weird feeling, isn't it?
How was your dad? Your dad's like, I'm so proud of you, son.
Oh, he basically said he was proud, but he said I should have warned him what was happening. So yeah. It's
a bit nervous. You don't know. It's No, it's good. John and I had quite a few discussions about the scene, and it was kind of on me if I wanted to kind of keep it in there and do it or not. And that particular scene, it's beautiful. It's it might be one of her lowest points in the film, her most vulnerable and raw, but it's I think it's beautiful. It's shot really arty, and I think it's a great thing.
Definitely. So that aside, what would you like to say to people who are heading along to Monster Fest to check out Freelance? Have you got a special message for everybody?
It's a Saturday. It's a great time. 2:30 p.m. I'm flying to Melbourne. So I'd love to meet new faces, old faces. It's a great film. It's a great, psychological thriller, horror. I think it hits, a really great audience market. So, come down and, I'd love to meet you.
Definitely. And Nicole, I should have asked this before. So many people have been asking this about the Monster Fest films we've been covering. Is there a life after Monster Fest? What can we expect from Freelance? Will it get a cinema screening after Monster Fest? What are the plans so far?
There will be things happening. I just can't say too much at this stage, but over the next month or two, there'll be more announcements. Head to Premilex Films on Instagram, or my Instagram account, Nicole Pastor Official. There'll be lots more announcements on where people can see this film.
Awesome. Well, Nicole, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us today. It's been an absolute honour having you on the show, and I can't wait to be able to see the audience reaction to the film at Monster Fest this Saturday. So thank you so much.